The Bruins crush the Flyers 7-3 at Lake Tahoe. I'm Evan Marinofsky alongside Conor Ryan. Well, not really alongside, but via Zoom alongside Conor Ryan on Bruins rink side. And Conor, you're at Tahoe, as people can see. You're Tahoe's in the background. You made the trek.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad. I was also listening to Bobby Girl. I don't know if you heard Pasta's post game thing, but I was also listening to it, and now I'm beyond the show. So if we could kind of wrap this up a little bit, so I can go back to listen to Bobby Girl. Like, I'm not trying to make a big deal of this, but anyway, glad to
Are
be
you
here,
cold?
Evan.
Are you cold as well? Are
I'm
you very
I'm
cold?
freezing right now. Yes,
In,
it's
in
tough.
fairness to him, people can go watch the presser on Bruins Ringside or on this YouTube channel, but it looked freezing.
It
The
looks
wind
quite, yeah, it looks
chill, it
terrible. Yeah.
looked miserable because they did it on like the where players go onto the ice. But incredible game for the Bruins, at least. We'll start with three main takeaways, I think, from this game. We'll start with number one. The scenery was amazing. The sunlight in that first period looked horrendously bad.
Yeah, no, as soon as the puck dropped, I think everyone had the same reaction, right? Where you see just the glare out there and you're like, oh, is it going to be like this for most of the game? The ice didn't look particularly great. You had, the Flyers' first goal was off that super weird bounce off the boards from Couturier to Farabee. You're like, oh, this game's going to be wonky. Like, I'm not even going to look at like the Corsi for this game because it's going to be a disaster. It's like at that point, you're just hoping that you get through without injuries, which unfortunately wasn't the case for the Bruins. But as the game went on, though, especially with conditions getting better, they timed it out pretty well in terms of you had one kind of wonky first period there, but then you had the sun going down. The visuals were awesome, especially when they hit it at
Amazing.
the right level where you're able to get, the game improved as it got colder and the ice got better. But some of those shots were really impressive. And as much as I think we were all concerned based on how much of a disaster Saturday was, that it was going to be the same kind of situation, it seemed like the Bruins were pretty happy with how it all ended up for them. Obviously, they'll be happy because they won 7-3, but it seems like they had a good time. I mean, they had the '90s look. They did kind of the hallmarks of their usual outdoor games. So it was a good weekend for the Bruins for sure. And as a whole, the product is pretty good out there on the ice.
It's funny. I was afraid this game would end up after the first period having to be postponed until like 3 a.m. our time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also nervous for Rask. Sun's going against him. He says that it sucks for goalies in general. I'm like, this is gonna be one of those games where he lets in a bunch and people get on
Mm-hmm.
about it. And it's like, no, you don't understand. It's the glare. But obviously they overcame it. The Tahoe views were amazing. Now to on the ice to actual play. David Pastrnak, hat trick, second hat trick in 3 games against the Flyers this year.
He heard those. He heard those trade rumors, man. That's what
He
it
heard
was.
those. He heard the trade rumors. He saw the Felger Maz clip. He saw that he was going to go to Pittsburgh with a first for Crosby. But you look at a game like this, and we'll discuss more at length tomorrow on Bruins beat. But you really look at it, and national stage, big game. A lot of people watching, and he was the main attraction of this whole game. Pink sunglasses, Barbie girl, 3 goals, just a crazy day. How much we obviously know around here, Pasternak's amazing and he's absurd and snipes and blah, blah, blah. But how big does this kind of elevate him on the national stage?
I mean, it should. You'd think the NHL would take a glimpse at just how much he draws from this. And again, it's not just the play on the ice; it's the stuff off the ice. And as much as I think hockey's shot itself in the foot over the years with turning aside these guys with the eccentric personalities of the guys who dress differently, Bruce Cassidy even said it earlier this week that that's what the league needs. They need guys like him or Matthews or these, stars that are also, fun to follow and engage with off the ice. And I think you saw today was just a perfect example. I mean, he gets a hat trick on a national game. That second goal he had, that snipe, like the no look, was just crazy, right? That one,
Ridiculous.
that's the one where you just like put your hands up and you're like, all right, well, but I think, it was just one of those games where all of it works out. And it just makes a compelling case for why he should be one of the faces of the league. Because again, we always go down the same argument with like how McDavid isn't really that thrilling a guy, and of course he's going to get marketed because he's Connor McDavid. He's fantastic, but
He's insane.
the NHL needs to be aware of just what you have in a guy like David Pastrnak, because just the way he is off the ice, how engaging he is, the Bobby Girl thing, which I'm sure is going to go viral now, like just the Macho Man Randy Savage glasses, all of it. Like, this is exactly what the NHL needs, is a uber skilled player like Pastrnak, who also is great off the ice as well.
Oh yeah, no, and I think that to me is a huge thing, and with him, it's so big that he gets this exposure on the national stage. Also helps a guy like Charlie McAvoy, who had a really good game, maybe helping his Norris case. Not that we're saying he's going to win it, but there's a real case there. Lastly, before we end the video, secondary scoring. Really showed up. Charlie Coyle scored a goal. Nick Ritchie, technically John Moore. I had a tweet that said, Don Sweeney sending John Moore's goal to Seattle. We're going to say it's John Moore's goal, but I guess we'll say it really was Nick Ritchie's. Trent Frederick gets his first. How big is this for now going forward with secondary scoring? Of course, the one game that David Krejci doesn't play in, by the way.
Of course. Yeah, no, I think it's encouraging. I think there's a lot, to dissect from this game, as you said, that we're going to talk about it on Bruins Beat, because there's so many positive developments. I think obviously you lose Jeremy Lauzon, which hopefully isn't a long-term thing, but whether it be, John Moore looking pretty solid out there. He was like a Corsi god. That guy was attempting like 20 different shots. It was nuts. Between that, Clifton, he took that hit from Couturier early on that you were concerned about, but he looked like his typical kind of Clifton game, who was activating off the blue line. Vaakanainen had kind of that bad break where the puck kind of bounced off him and passed Rask for that Van Riemsdyk goal, but I think he had 23 minutes of ice time, got his first point, looked solid in that role. So I think you look at the defense for at least one game, you have to be encouraged. And then, as you said, Charlie Coyle needed that goal desperately.
Needed it.
Depending on how long Krejci's out, you need him to be driving that second line. Frederick, as good as he's been, it's good to see him finally get rewarded with a goal. So throughout the lineup, you have to look at this game, and of course, Lauzon, that sucks in terms of the state of your decor. It's we could be in a situation where a guy like Nick Wolf or Cooper Zek, one of these guys, is called up if it stays.
Yes.
But as a whole, you look all across the lineup, there really wasn't one area of the game where you were looking at it like, we could have fixed that up a little bit. Like it was just a complete victory for them, and a pretty cool stage to do it in.
Quite the stage. Ironically enough, Cassidy mentioned after the game, we'll get into this more again tomorrow, but Grzelcyk, Lauzon, Zabora were the starting left shot defensemen to begin the year, and they are all out with injuries. So we will get to that. We will get to that another time. But for now, Bruins fans, enjoy this win, enjoy the pictures, the scenery, and go listen to Barbie Girl while you're at it. And by the way, also while you're at it, go make sure to read Boston Sports Journal for all your Bruins coverage, and subscribe to Bruins Rinkside, watch our videos, and keep following us along for the entire season.